All right. Hello, gentlemen. My name is Philippe from Taji Mag, and I have here Mr. Donald Faison, John Crab, two of the sexiest bald-headed men I know who make me look
Oh,
sexy.
you need to stop that, buddy. You the sexiest
Exactly. You
bald-headed
put
brother
us to
I know.
shame. You put us to
Come on now.
shame. We
Come on now.
aspire.
Yep,
Right?
that's all you guys. All you
Yours
guys.
is smooth. Look at that. It's like butter.
Like,
Shiny. We
you
got the
guys,
shine.
but you guys on TV all the time, so you have to keep it shiny, you know?
Ours can't shine. Mine got to be dull. They got to put makeup on mine to stop the shine.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, yeah, right. But at least
Do you
you're.
have the skull shaver? It's like a buffer for your scalp.
Oh, I'm not that cool. I'm not that cool.
What you doing with? You got a
They're
straight
awesome.
razor?
Okay, let me ask you guys a question. Okay.
Okay.
How difficult is it for you? How difficult would it be for you to co-parent with the owner of the basketball team that you don't like? And how would you?
Ooh.
Gosh.
It'd be a lot of, it'd be a lot. Oh man. When they lost, I cheer in his face. Oh man. I don't know. That'd be very difficult. I'm sure that I'm sure I would find love in this situation eventually.
Mhm.
But at first, it would be a lot of, I would be ribbing the shit out of him on how bad his team was. Like just over and over again.
Be like those sports radio guys who just find a way to complain about everything.
Everything, right. Just
That's what I would do.
Okay. All right. Do you find humor helps with real life and co-parenting experiences?
Absolutely. I find
Oh,
humor is,
absolutely.
it saves you from atrocious pain sometimes, humor does, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and divorce, that was the whole point of extended family was to put people trying to find the positives in a divorce, in what is a tough situation for everybody, and it's literally finding the humor in it, that's been what's been really fun is I've been in the writers' room on the development of the show, and we basically found everything that two people can possibly argue about, and it's like, okay, how do we make that funny? And it's worked so far. It's been great. We did an episode actually about where Trey and Julia, the couple that is engaged on the show, asked Jim, my character, to give them a thing called a pre-cana, which is a Catholic marriage test that they do before to see if people are really suited for each other. And that opens up every possible can of worms that can be opened. And it's great. It's a great episode. I'm so proud of it. But it's fun. The show has been we've taken the old school multi-camera sitcom in front of an audience and brought it up to today. And I'm really proud of that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And you guys are like two of the funniest guys on television. And so I have to ask you guys, like, what are some of the most memorable moments that you've had in regards to being funny moments behind the scenes?
Our first show in front of a studio audience,
Mhm.
which was the pilot, that was a memorable moment because I knew it was happening. You know what I mean? I remember us doing it and being like, wow, this really does have a shot. We had a really good night that night. And that was the first one where it was like that one, and then also seeing the chemistry between John and shit, why am I blanking right now?
And Abigail?
And Abigail. Thank you. I was going to call her Julia. Seeing the chemistry between John and Abigail for the first time, I was like, holy shit. I got some work to do. I've got some work to do because they came out of the gate so hard and so it was like, it was simpatico. And I remember the first scene that I saw them do was the scene where the tracking scene. And I remember and it was in front of the audience and being like, oh my God, dude, wake up. It's time to work. You got to work. You know what I mean? That was one of the most memorable things too. Coming to work and realizing, oh, this ain't no walk in the park. You're working with vets. You're working with the real deal Holyfield right now.
Yeah, and there was another great moment when we'd been working. This has been a really long process. I mean, we shot our first episode over almost 2 years ago.
2 years.
We shot the pilot, and it was actually the first show back after COVID to have a live audience. You know, everybody was masked and stuff, but we had a live audience, and that was like everybody. You know, everybody in the sitcom business really missed that. You know, everybody shut down and stopped having audiences. And that's just there's something about having a you know, real life group of people there that really changes you know, and enlivens things. So when we were that first show back, that we just felt like, okay, we've got something special here. And then fully a year and a half later, when we finally on the air, there was this wonderful moment where an article got sent over got sent to my email by my publicist about saying that the show had gotten this huge sampling because of the football promotion that they did. And it just blew past the estimates of what they thought the show would get. And we all just sort of, there's this moment where it came up on my phone and I was like, nobody else knows this yet. You know? And I had to sort of like show, you know, and at first I showed you, Donald.
Yeah.
And I was like, people really wanted to see this show.
They did.
And that was a great moment because, you know, after that long and after going through the strike and, you know, NBC got new leadership and, you know, there's this, you know, it was just a minefield to get this show on the air. And it was just an amazing moment.
Okay. So tell everybody a little bit about your characters. Like, I guess if you were to describe them in a few words, how would you describe your characters on the show?
Well, Trey's the owner of the Boston Celtics. He is a self-made man who somehow found a way to raise the money to buy the team that he grew up watching and loving. I have a bunch of cousins from, you said a few words. That's it. I'll stop there.
No, let's hear your family history.
No.
Let's get into it. Let's.
No.
This is an episode.
He said a few words.
Your Family Tree by Donald Faison. Jim, my character, is a guy who's who's almost way too comfortable with himself. You know, he's very different than Alan, the guy I played on 2.5 Men, who always was kind of thwarted in his life. You know, Jim has not achieved a whole lot more than Alan, but he's just much more comfortable with himself, and he's much more willing to say the thing that's sort of hanging over that nobody's willing to say. You know, he's the guy who's going to say it. You know, he's the guy who's willing to make mistakes in front of his kids so that they can learn from it. You know, and that's really fun. That's a different guy. That was a different guy than I was as a parent. You know, and I it's kind of like when I was playing Ducky in Pretty in Pink, he was kind of the guy I would have liked to have been in high school. So you know, it's a little bit aspirational.
Okay. All right, so I got one more question, and I had to save it for last. Okay, how do you envision Turk from Scrubs and Alan from 2.5 Men navigating co-parenting?
Wow. They'd be like, first of all, how did these worlds collide?
What on earth?
Right. How did these universes just go bang? I think they do great. I think they would. At the end of the day, both are compassionate and loving human beings, you know. So if they had to co-parent, I think they'd figure it out. And I think both of them have a lot in common also, Alan and Turk. Way more than Trey and Jim do.
What about you, John? What do you think?
Oh, well, yeah, you know, I mean, Alan was you know, the Turk and JD dynamic would never come into play in the Alan and Turk relationship. It would be much more bumpy and much less guy love. you know, but I think Alan, yeah, he was a sucker for his kid in a really wonderful way. And actually, when I was doing 2.5 Men, I was myself going through a divorce, and you know, and brought a lot of that of the real angst that I had in that to Alan. And you know, you're in a vulnerable place, and I think Turk would be would handle that well, actually.
Okay. Well, that's all the time I have, guys. I really appreciate it. Donald, I'm waiting for a Waiting to Exhale spinoff of your character. Is that cool?
They need to do it, man. They need to do the Gloria and Tariq story, man. The book was that. The book